Good morning. Welcome to my channel, Coco Style Room. I'm so excited that you're here today. So, I was trying to put this tutorial together last night and it wasn't coming together how I had planned, so I had to do it over and over and over again. But, ta-da! I made it here today. So, thank you guys for subscribing to my channel so far. It's been fun creating these videos for you. And this is a place where I create tutorials to teach you how to make clothing for yourselves and also talk about the business of fashion and lifestyle. Today, what's on the menu? I'm showing you how to make this super chic tunic that I'm wearing. I mean, I know we're all going to be working from home a bit longer. Even the companies who have opened up are not going to be opening up fully for a while now. So I think it's important that regardless of where you are or what you're doing, keep it chic, and that is my story. So, to that effect, I'm going to show you how to make this tunic. It's only going to take you, 15 to 20 minutes. It's pretty easy, and I want you to have fun while doing it. So, if you've not hit the subscribe button, please do, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any of my posts or any of my tutorials. You never know what fun I'll be bringing. Thank you. We'll be needing two kinds of fabric. I have print fabric here and plain fabric for the bow highlights. You'll be needing your scissors, your pins and needles, your marker, rulers, matching thread, pattern paper, and you'll be needing the following measurements. You'll be needing your shoulder measurements, sleeve length, half length, your waist to knee, your hip measurement, and your armhole measurement. So first, I'll mark this portion center from CF, and then we'll go on and mark our half length measurement, our hip line, which is about 8 inches from the waistline, and then our waist to knee. In my case, my waist to knee is 24, but I want it to be really short, so I'm going to subtract 4 inches from that measurement. And that gives me 20. So we'll mark that on the opposite side of the paper and connect those dots. Go ahead and connect those dots. Next, we want to mark half of our shoulder measurement. So my shoulder measurement is 15 inches. Half of that is 7.5. So I will mark that here and drop that line or drop that point by 1 inch to create the shoulder slope. And then we need to create the neckline or the neck hole. So the standard neckline is about 3 inches. That can vary depending on the body size, but the standard neckline is 3 by 3 inches. So we're going to mark that out as a square over here and connect those points. Now on the part of the square that forms a right angle over here, you're going to want to come in by 1 inch on both sides of the right angle and connect that point with a small curve. The sleeve length in this case is 6 inches. So from the new shoulder line here that I've dropped by 1 inch, I'm going to mark 6 inches out and connect that point. The armhole, for the sake of this tunic, is 20 inches, so we need to mark half of 20 inches out, and that would be 10. Connect those points. Now, whatever this total measurement is from the sleeve length to the shoulder measurement, you need to take that measurement This is about 13.5, and then mark that on your armhole measurement and connect that point to the shoulder line. Because this tunic is basically a square, we're only going to be needing the hip measurement. So my hip measurement is 45, but I want it to be pretty loose, so I'm going to be adding 6 inches to that measurement, making it 51. We need to mark a quarter of that measurement on the pattern paper. So just fold your tape measure in places. Makes it easier, so you don't have to do the math. And then go on and mark whatever that measurement is on your waistline, on your hip line, and on your bottom hemline. And go ahead and connect those points. You're going to want to extend this line into the sleeve line or the armhole measurement line, just so you know where it stops. Now we add our seam allowance. We need 1 inch seam allowance all the way around to help us fold it in at the bottom, at the sleeve, and to sew the both pieces front and back together when we are ready. And go on and connect those points. Here's what your pattern should look like. Now, on the corner, on the underarm, you want to make a tiny little curve in there for ease of stitching. To shape the neckline, I intend to use the same pattern for both the front and the back because again it's a square. So we'll start by shaping the back neckline. So from the nape point, you put your tape measure in there and swing it all the way forward to the center front line. And I want my back neckline to be about 6 inches deep. And then take a curved ruler or your pattern master and put that curve in, like so. Now I'm thinking that it might be best if I made the neckline at the back a little wider. So I'm going to expand it on the shoulder line by 1 inch and then reconnect my curve. So this will serve as the back pattern and the front. For the front neckline, I want it to be much deeper, so I'm just going to connect this shoulder point to the bust point with a straight ruler, like so. Now V-necks aren't exactly straight per se, so you're going to want to go back in with a curved ruler, finding the part of the ruler that's not so curved, and redraft that line. Now we're going to leave it like this so that we can use this part to cut the back pattern, and then before we cut the front pattern, we'll come back and cut off this excess. I should probably mention here that the amount of fabric you need is basically your hip measurement plus the additional 6 inches and your seam allowance. And fold your fabric over 1 time out. For the front piece, we're just going to go ahead and cut off that excess we had created, the V-neck we created for the front piece, or for the front neckline. There we go. Fold the fabric in half. As we did with the back piece, and place your pattern on it again. Pin that round and then cut it out. Now we have both the back piece, which is a simple U-neck, and the front piece, which is a deep V-neck, as you see here. Now let's create the bow. Now for the bow, we need 10 inches by 18 inches because we want it to be an elaborate bow. So fold your fabric over like that once, and then I have to straighten that line. So mark out 10 inches on that point, which is the width, and then mark out 18 inches, which is the length. If you'd like, you can pin this down so it doesn't move around so much. And then go ahead and connect those points and cut it out. Mark out 4 inches by 4 inches on the wrong side of the fabric. This is going to be the tunnel through which we pass the main bow to actually make it into a bow. Now to put our tunic together, place the back piece right side facing up, and then place the front piece on it with the right side facing down, so that way you have right side facing right side. If you'd like, you could pin that down all the way around, and then go ahead and join the shoulder point by 1/4 of an inch that way, and then join the sides all the way into the armhole by 1 inch. To finish off your dress, now we're done sewing all the sides and shoulder points together. Go on and fold your sleeve over by 1 inch, the hem of your sleeve, fold over by 1 inch and pin it round. And do the same thing for both sleeves. Pin it round by 1 inch and then sew it down as close to the edge as possible. Finishing the hem is pretty much the same thing. You go down there and fold it over by 1 inch as well. And go ahead and pin that down neatly. Keep folding over by 1 inch. There are different ways to finish the neckline. You can do a simple rolled neckline and just fold it over the same way you folded the sleeve and the hem, or you can use something called bias tape. I prefer to use bias tape because it's neater. So to attach your bias tape, this is how it looks. You take one edge of it, attach it to the first corner there, and then pin that down. And then begin to pin that all the way around the neckline like that. It takes a minute, but you get the hang of it. So when you're done pinning it round, you need to sew it down along where you pinned. And then when that is done, you go ahead and flip your bias tape over. And then sew it down one more time after you flipped it. Here's how we're looking after finishing the sleeve, the hemline, and the neckline with bias tape. To make the bow, you remember that we cut out 10 inches by 18 inches. So go ahead and fold it over as it was before. And then sew around this portion, the corners, by 1/4 inch, leaving about 1 inch at the end here to turn the entire thing inside out when we're done. And we do the same thing here. We fold it over and sew this portion down and then turn it inside out. Now we've sewed this portion down, we need to turn that inside out. Like this. And then turn the main bow inside out as well. So this will take a minute really. Here's what it looks like after we've turned it inside out. So go ahead and iron it real quick. Fold this way, fold it over one time, pin it and then sew that part down, and then go on and turn it back inside out like this. And then we need to finish the 1 inch that we left open to turn it inside out like that. We finished off the 1 inch allowance we left open to turn it inside out. And then we've sewn this place down. So next is turning this part inside out. Now gather one corner of your bow and begin to work it inside out, or begin to work it inside the tiny little ribbon you've made, like this. As usual, it takes a bit of patience. Here's what your bow should look like when you're done. Nice and neat on either side. Place the newly finished bow with the center aligning to the neckline in front and pin that down. And also pin the two pointy edges at the top to your fabric, or rather to your tunic. It's no longer fabric, it's a complete tunic now. There will be some hand sewing here, so because this portion is thick, you're going to need to use your hand needle to sew that down, like that. Just a few stitches to secure your bow. And then do the same thing for the 2 pointed corners. Here is